And it got uncomfortable because other people around us were looking at us. And I was so tempted to match the energy, I'm not going to lie. Hey, Survivor. Welcome to episode 139 of the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Have you been told not to argue with narcissists? Well, I say you can, but not in the way you think. And we're going to talk about it. But first, let's self-regulate with a 4-for-8 breathing exercise, if you'd like. We'll inhale for 4, hold for 4, and exhale for 8. Ready? Inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What do you notice in your body? Grab your notebook and pen, and let's dig in. Hey, Survivor. Welcome to the Vibrant Survivor podcast. Do you want to disconnect from a narcissistic or toxic situation and heal? Are you Googling how to identify a narcissist, narcissistic abuse, and boundaries? Are you feeling stressed and lonely while trying to avoid being sucked back in and lied to again? Hey, I'm Lesley. As a busy wife and mom, I fell for the lies and manipulations of narcissists. I wasted my time, talents, and money on users who kept moving the goalposts. I wanted real relationships and business opportunities and to enjoy life with my family. Instead, I struggled with anxiety, panic attacks, and insomnia, and I couldn't trust my body or anybody until I took a holistic approach to healing. In this podcast, you'll find tips for healthy living, trauma healing, and boundaries so that you'll have the freedom, confidence, and inner peace to respond, not react, after narcissistic abuse. Take a deep breath in, let it out slowly, and just relax. This time's for you. I remember almost getting baited into defending myself during a confrontational conversation with a fake friend. We were in public, they were getting loud, and it got uncomfortable because other people around us were looking at us. And I was so tempted to match the energy, I'm not going to lie. But somehow, because I didn't even know half of what I know now back then, I found it within me just intuitively to pause, take a breath, stay grounded. And I even leaned back in my chair and I said in a soft voice, hey, there's no need to get excited here. And I didn't take the bait. And that is the shift that I want for you, Survivor, in dealing with difficult people, to not take the bait, but to be able to respond and not react. Most experts will tell you, don't argue with a narcissist. And for good reason. I wasted a lot of time, energy, trying to do that and get them to change or see things from my perspective. And I want to flip the script on this idea of not arguing with a narcissist, not to cause drama or to encourage drama, but to give you a framework to be able to respond and not react after narcissistic abuse. I got inspired by Townsend and Cloud's Boundaries book, and I present to you the A.R.G.U.E method. A stands for accept them the way that they are. Stop waiting for the narcissist to change. It's likely not going to happen. And know that acceptance does not equal agreement, but rather it's a sign of clarity. In his Healthy Brain book, Dr. Bill Sears talks about 8 stress busters and references centenarians who lead long, stress-free, healthy lives. And one of the first things that is listed among the stress busters is that if you can't change it, don't worry about it. And this applies in narcissistic and toxic relationships too. R stands for respect their choice to be themselves. You're not there to control anyone but yourself. And respecting someone else's choices means that you get to make your choices too. And it can also help to remove this illusion that you are somehow responsible for other people's behavior emotions and thinking, whether they are accusing you of being responsible for their behaviors, emotions, and thinking, like, you made me mad, you made me do this, or if you are just internalizing some sense of responsibility for another person's behavior, emotions, and thinking. I have made this mistake trying to present my case, make my points to get someone else to change their behavior, emotions, and thinking, even in my situation. And it just was not happening. So respect their choice to be themselves. It is a choice. G stands for give them consequences as appropriate. When you disconnect from someone else's behavior, emotions, and thinking, especially if they are narcissistic or toxic, that is a consequence. When you go low or no contact in your relationships, that is a consequence, regardless of the nature of the relationship. In this situation that I described, I chose to go low contact because it was not a relationship that I could easily avoid entirely. And your situation may vary. Now I don't even deal with them at all, so there's that. But at the time, I chose low contact and just created that space. Your silence, peace, or distance is a boundary. And Townsend and Cloud talk about, they kind of describe it as a managing your own property in their boundaries book. And so if you look at it that way, as you're responsible for your own property, you're responsible for the maintenance and upkeep, you're responsible for payments. So it's property management versus punishment. U stands for understand who and what you're dealing with. Study their patterns without excusing them. That can be so hard, because if you're getting your needs met in some way, shape, or form within the context of the relationship, or within kind of a larger context, like say in a community or a friend group or something like that, it can be hard to just not excuse or explain away certain things that you're seeing with your own eyes. And that's where disconnecting can really help, like taking a time out, taking a break, taking a step back, and creating that space where you can see more clearly what's going on. And you may not see it initially. Don't beat yourself up. You're not alone. I've definitely been guilty of that and not seeing the patterns early on. But over time, the pattern emerges, and the person that you're dealing with may have kind of a signature move, so to speak, that is part of their style, part of their manipulation tactics. And when you realize or understand the manipulation tactics that they're using, then you can stop taking it personally and just know that that's part of who and what you're dealing with. Maya Angelou famously said, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. And sometimes that's really hard. I think especially when you have certain needs that are being in some way met, if there's certain aspects of the relationship or situation that are fulfilling a need that you have, and depending on how you prioritize that need, it can be really difficult to believe or to see things the first time around or early on. E stands for engage with safe and trustworthy people. Yes, this is what we want. You don't want to spend your energy proving your point, proving yourself to someone who is not trying to hear it. Instead, you should try to redirect your focus to where you can heal and thrive, and preferably in community. There's a lot of healing power in community. I've experienced this myself, going through groups, like I'm in a Celebrate Recovery group right now for doing a step study, a 12-step study through church, and that's been really powerful. And we've all been able to bond with one another, share our lives, share our struggles, and work on things in our character and celebrate our wins. And then I've also done counseling and therapy, and that's been helpful too. And participate in other healing modalities that have helped me to regulate my body and brain, like flotation therapy, meditation. So there's a lot of healing that you can be doing instead of beating your head against a wall trying to control someone else's behavior, emotions, and thinking. And having community can really help support you on your journey. And this is how you win. It's not about controlling or crushing someone else, but getting back to yourself, prioritizing yourself, your health, and your well-being, and cultivating a support network. When you know who you're dealing with, you don't react or try to control them. You're not in Hulk mode. You're not all dysregulated. You respond instead and protect your peace. You're grounded, self-regulating, you're in banner mode. Big difference. And one thing that you can try is journaling on which part of arguing, as I've laid it out here, feels hardest right now. Because it can be overwhelming, it can feel impossible, it can feel intimidating, kind of scary. But give it a try if you'd like, because that's where your power lies. Remember, an argument with a narcissist can drag on for hours. Argue and win by reclaiming your power. Thanks for tuning in, Survivor. Your peace is priceless and protecting it is powerful. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. The fear is real when it comes to processing your experience. I know you feel stressed and exhausted with a pit in your stomach at the thought of being sucked back in and lied to again. You feel like a horrible person for going no or low contact, like maybe I'm the narcissist. The fear, self-blaming, and shaming is something we all go through as survivors. I want you to understand that you're not alone and you're not crazy. Every person who's ever been in a narcissistic relationship has felt what you're feeling right now. If this resonates with you and you're like, I'm done with fear, I'm done playing small, I know who I am, and I am not the narcissist, I want you to say yes. Today's the day. I want you to go right now to closeyourcoachingsession.com, and I want you to book your call because we're going to do this together. I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to overcome this fear so that you can begin a long-lasting journey of healing. Let's do this. If this podcast has helped you understand who and what you're dealing with, sharpen your discernment, and move forward on your healing journey, share it with another survivor. Help me help others by leaving a review for the show. And let's connect on social. Take a screenshot, share it in your IG stories, find and tag me at The Vibrant Survivor, and I'll share your post too. I look forward to connecting with you on IG and seeing you back here. You're not alone and you're not crazy. Know who you're dealing with, know who you are. Take care, and I'll meet you back here next week. Bye-bye.